Hello and welcome to the Tasogare Radio Show. I am your host, Midday. If this is your first time listening, this is my show where I share music from video games I love and just chat about them and stuff. I'm so excited today because I have some song requests for the first time as well, and I just cannot wait to share them. If this isn't your first time listening, then you already know the theme for today's tunes is jazz. I spent some time last episode talking about jazz because actually I played in the jazz band at my high school. Did you try to guess what instrument I played? If you've watched my other channel, you'll know I complain pretty often about my hands being small, so you probably thought it was something small. But you'd be wrong. I played the tenor saxophone. Actually, it was really hard to reach the lowest keys with my pinkies. They kind of hurt to press. And if I were to go back and pick a new instrument now, I think I'd really love to play the soprano saxophone. I forget where, but I once heard that saxophones are one of the hardest instruments to blend in with other kinds of sounds, which is why even when you see orchestras with brass and whatnot, the saxophones are still likely to be missing. But maybe that's why they're so prevalent in jazz, because that's what jazz is about. So let's get to it. Enough talk, let's hear some jazz. To start, I'm going with 3 I picked. We do have 2 requests for today, but I'll save them for the second set when I check the voicemail. I see it says we have a message, but it is just Sean, probably with some verbal, as per our last meeting style follow-up. Since we did meet this last week to discuss that whole legal thing I was worried about last time, we'll talk about that after we hear his message though. So to start, I'm going with the most quintessentially jazzy song from a game I can think of, which is Sazh's theme from Final Fantasy XIII. Actually, when I was going through the soundtrack looking for the Sunleth Waterscape instrumental, I heard this one again for the first time in a long time, and boy did it scratch an itch I didn't know I had. So this is Sazh's theme from Final Fantasy XIII. listening to the Tasogare Radio Show, and this is your host, Midday speaking, bringing you jazzy tunes to vibe out to today. For this first set, I picked 3 that I felt have bass lines to really feel. I'm sure everyone has heard the jokes about bass, but something that I think sets jazz apart from your average pop song is how interesting the bass lines can get. The first one was Sazh's theme from Final Fantasy XIII, the second was Easygoing Babe from Legendia, and the last was The Tiger of Dorothea from Atelier Esca and Logi. I'm gonna single out Easygoing Babe here. Just like Sazh, it is also a character theme from Tales of Legendia, for Grune. I actually played that game so long ago, I don't remember much about it, but I really do love the music. I actually bought the CD about a year ago, even though I haven't played the game since a long time ago. So, here's a little story about that. Some of the songs are written in an in-game language. At least, I'm fairly sure it's not a real language. Then the lyrics in the pamphlet are written in the script for that language, making them all but completely useless to actually learn the lyrics. I do commend the dedication, though. And before you say it, for these first 3 episodes, I know I kind of got pigeonholed on a few games, but what can I say? I absolutely adore those games. I might do dedicated episodes to some of them as well, since there's just so much I love about them, but that's a we'll see kind of thing. In the meantime, it's thanks to those song requests that we are branching out into some new territory today. I have one from Discord, and we actually had quite a few from the comments uploaded to YouTube, but only one was jazzy enough to fit this episode. The other ones are carefully stowed in my back pocket, and will be played soon. You have my promise. But yeah, this is the time reserved for the voicemail, so let's see what Sean decided to leave for us today.
You have one new message. First message.
Hi, Midday. This is Whim.
What?
I'm calling in to suggest the song Duel from Fate Extra. I really adore the whole soundtrack for this game, and while it's got some incredible battle music, this song in particular is one of my favorites. This game has a sort of special place in my heart. I actually received it as a gift from my older sister, back when I was getting really into Fate. It was a limited edition set of the game that she'd bought around release. It comes with a mini art book and a fancy CD with the soundtrack. It's something that means a lot to me, and I really hope you enjoy the song.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious? A real song request on the voicemail? I can't believe it. Okay. I know what to do here. Thank you so much for your request, Whim. It's going to take me a bit to find it to play it, so we'll start with the other ones while I queue it up, but thank you so much for sharing your story. And you know, it's funny you mention your sister, because actually, my sister got me the Atelier Esca and Logi game as a gift, so I have a really similar relationship to the music from it. Right, so we're going to start with the Discord request from XIII, and you knew we couldn't have a jazz-themed episode without some Persona, so this is a perfectly fitting Changing Seasons from Persona 3. So, have a listen. Oh my gosh, I have to go find it. This is the Tasogare Radio Show, and I'm your host, Midday. If you're just tuning in, the theme for today is jazzy tunes from games, and that last set was made up entirely of only requests, and I am so happy about it. Now, for the first one, we had Changing Seasons from Persona 3. I know XIII picked this one because in the past I said I actually don't like it, but it's a jazzy tune nonetheless. I think the main reason I dislike it is because the vocals at the start are a little too repetitive for how spicy and dissonant they are to me. That's why I specifically picked this version of it, which is from the Reincarnation album, which is a little more varied in terms of the construction of the song, and not to be confused with the Reloaded version, which is closer to the original but has more vocals. Next, we had Frog from Pangya, which is an online golf game that has shut down. Now, I know that Plinko picked this song because of the name, but it's a solid, upbeat addition to this jazzy selection today, and the most breezy we have. As for the meme of the frog, well, I think that's a bit too niche to explain if you saw their comment on the last video, so I'll just leave it at that. And finally, that last song was also completely new to me. Duel of Fate from the PlayStation Portable game, Fate Extra, which I've never played. I actually have a PlayStation Portable, and hearing this and thinking about it kind of reminds me of a certain special song that one day I would love to share here. But not only is there no clean version of it, I've never heard it outside of that game ever. It's not even in the sound select. But back to the song. We already heard about how Whim felt about the song, so I think it's best to let his words do the heavy lifting here. I really liked it a lot. Thank you so much for calling in. This is going into my background music playlist. Actually, all requested songs are, except Changing Seasons. It's just not my jam. Right, yeah, the message wasn't from Sean, so I kind of got a bit excited there. This is important, though, so I should talk about it. Legal stuff time. I had a meeting in person with Sean last week. You know, like a performance review or something. It turns out they didn't tell me the details because apparently I'm a liability and it's easier this way. But we did look over the legal stuff, and they said, actually, specifically, the way our contract is written, we don't have to disclose anything. But I was like, no man, that sucks. So I fought for a modicum of transparency. So thanks to that, I get to say this show is brought to you by... No, I mean, I'm the one doing the work, so it's brought to you by me. Me and coffee, of course. How should I phrase it? This show was made because of the Oras group. Got it? O-R-A-S. Oras. It's a research... wait, oh my gosh, is it a company? I think it's a foundation. The story of how I ended up in the orbit was a weird confluence of events, and I can't say anything about why, but the agreement is I do this, they help me. Easy enough, right? Anyway, I was super hyped that some people requested songs, and I really hope, if you're listening, you consider throwing some requests in as well. Even if they don't fit the theme for next time, I promise you I will work to make them fit in somewhere. Anyway, we should get back to the music then. I think it would be illegal to have a jazz-themed episode and only have one Persona song in it, but I was kind of hoping to introduce people to some songs that they haven't heard before, so just one more Persona song for today, and that will be Life Goes On from Persona 5. Enjoy. You know what? I'm tired of introducing myself every time we come back from a song break. This is the third episode. I think you know my name, and it doesn't sound less awkward than it did the first time. I'm not going to do it anymore. Anyway, that was Life Goes On from Persona 5. No comment needed there, I believe. Almost the whole game series is infused with jazz energy, and I could have picked any number of songs from any of the OSTs to fill the entire episode, but as I was listening to the OST from start to finish to pick just one, Persona 5's Life Goes On jumped out at me. The second song is Carefree Bandits from Tales of Legendia. I know we already had one at the start from Tales of Legendia, but that game just has some bangin' jazzy tunes. One of these days I should play it again from the start, but I have to pull out some pretty old hardware to get it going. And lastly, an extravagant moment from God Eater 2, which I felt was a nice cool-down track since we are winding down here. It plays in the lounge, which is a perfect place to put jazzy tunes to kick back and relax to. As usual, to close out, I have to ham-fist in Oris's required catchphrases somewhere, so they're going right here. Who are you? Why are you here? Does that work? I feel so dumb saying it. There is no one here. It's just me, and I know why I'm here. Alright, one last thing before I drop the final track, which is very different energy from the rest we've been listening to today. The theme for next time is adventure. And yes, those other song requests that were submitted kinda don't fit with that theme. But please rest assured, I have them, and I am very excited to find a home for them in a coming episode. Now, this is the final song, so thank you for joining me today, and I hope you stop by next time. We've hit bass heavy jazz, upbeat jazz, smooth jazz, and now it's time for dark jazz. This is The World Sinking into Darkness from Tales of Exilia. Catch you next time.